Okay, so let's talk about PAMs and let's answer your question about phase and offset and all that good stuff. So I got an oscilloscope here. It is hooked into output one of PAMs. It's running at 120 beats per minute, although it is running at a divided by 2 clock right now just to slow it down so that we could tell what is going on here. I also did this as a triangle wave to make this easier to see. And you can see that each of those boxes are set so that it is measuring 2 volts worth of voltage. And so this is a 0 to 5 volt output of an LFO. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through some of the features here and just kind of show you what it is that it is doing. All right, so let's give it some offset. So this is currently with 0 offset, and you can see the bottom of the bottom peak, or the bottom trough is 0 volts, and the top is 5 volts. 2, 4, and a little half there, so 2.5. Okay, so we're going to add some offset now, and we'll see what happens. Let's do that. So we're going to go offset, and we're scrolling it up, and we are going to dial in 25%. So what do we got there? Okay, so now we can see that the bottom has scrolled up, and we see that the trough now is no longer at 0 volts. It looks like it is somewhere right around half a volt or 3/4 of a volt, and we can also see that the top of the waveform is now clipped because it can't output more than 5 volts. Okay, so let's give it a little bit more offset. We'll see what happens. We can see as it's dialing up here. And now we're at 50% offset. We can see that it is starting to look at the top like a square wave. Now the trough looks like it's at well, what is that there? So the trough there at 50% should be 2.5 volts, with the top end still being 5 volts. So really what you're doing here is that when you're giving something offset, you are just simply deciding how, like where the trough, where the start point of that wave is. So in essence, that wave is always kind of on and kind of giving electricity, or kind of sending out its voltage. Okay. So, and obviously the logical conclusion is that if we dial it all the way up to 100% offset, what you get is just a steady on signal. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna dial that sucker back down. And down. Oh my God, we're already at 3 minutes. Okay, I didn't want this to be this long. Okay, we're gonna go over to phase. And actually, you know what? Phase is going to be easier shown with 2 waves. So I am going to get a second wave, and we're going to put it into the output 2 of PAMs, and we're going to make it the same clock speed, and we're going to have it become visible here. Let's make it go magic like this, and let's make it a triangle wave as well. And so what you're going to see is that they are going to disappear into each other, but let's do a little bit better than that. Let's go down and let's visually just take the waves apart so we can see what's going on here when I apply phase. Dial it in there. Okay, so now we got our 2 triangle waves, and since I'm already on wave 2, I'm just going to keep it there. And we are going to give it some phase. Okay, so we're going to roll it up to 25% phase. What do we got here? So what we are seeing is that the 2 waves have slowly shifted out of sequence from each other. You know what, let's make that a little bit more dramatic and illustrate really what's going on here by dialing it up to 50%. Okay, well now it's pretty apparent as to what's going on here. The 2 waves are now have completely become, nobody shoot me if symmetrical is the right word or not. But you can see here the starting point for the green wave, the bottom trough, is actually the high point for our second wave, the blue wave. And so what you're doing is when you're applying phase is that you are simply shifting it out of sequence from another one. So if you've got a bunch of your PAM outputs that are outputting LFOs and you want something to be just a little bit out of time with something else, well, give it some phase. And if we go 100% phase, well, let's see what happens. Let's scroll that all the way up. Oh, not CV. You can't go 100% phase, you can go 99% phase. And it's almost like they're back in sync again, except the starting point is now ahead of the other one. I can't visually tell whether it's ahead or front, but anyways. So let's dial that back and we can see the waves coming back into their thing there. So yeah, so you're adjusting the starting point really in comparison to all the rest of the waves around it. So you know what, you are, yeah, you're delaying the timing of it. You're kind of delaying the timing of it, although it's not delay in the other sense. Delay is here, you know what? So I'm gonna give it, you know, let's give it a dramatic amount of delay. Let's give it 50% delay. Okay, so this will be really noticeable. And then I'm gonna go give it a divisor. I'm gonna give it a divisor of 2. So what we're going to see here is that every second wave, does that work out that way? Yeah, what we see is 1, 2, yeah, so every second wave is pushed back, but it's clipped and it ends early. And then so you can see there, clipped wave, full wave, clipped wave, full wave, clipped wave, full wave. And I mean, you can change that divisor to be every third wave. So why do you want to do that? Well, you know what, that's up to you and your explorations to figure out a musical use for that. And there you can see a beautiful example, clipped wave and normal, normal, clipped, normal, normal, clipped, and so on and so forth with your various dividers. All right, okay, so that is division. Is there anything else I want to show since I got this up? And this might be helpful to people. Watch this be the most popular thing I've ever done. I shouldn't do music, I should just teach. Loop. All right, so let's just talk about the other features here real quick on PAMs. All right, this is there. So when you are looking at the stuff like random skip, Euclidean steps, Euclidean triggers, Euclidean rotation, and all that kind of stuff. There's tons of videos about that kind of stuff. Go look it up. It's really, really easy. And that stuff will generally apply to the random waves. And get the update so you can quantize your PAMs. And is there anything else I should show you on here? So you know what, maybe I'll change the waveform real quick here. So like, let's look at, say, something like random, and then let's go back and let's give it some attenuation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it 50% attenuation. So then only half the waves, it's not gonna output its full 5 volts, it's only gonna output 2.5 volts. And then let's give it some offset, and we are gonna give it 25% offset. So when we're giving something dropping down its level, aka attenuating it, and then giving it some offset, what we're doing is we're giving it a very narrow band to work within. And once again, that's up to you to figure out what your musical applications for that are. But basically, I'll say this: you don't want your CV wildly swinging all around the board. Sometimes you want it to be able to sustain certain positions on your knobs and certain notes or certain volume levels. Okay, so we're at 9 minutes. My God, that's way too long. Okay, so anyways, there you go. Hopefully that explanation helps. And if there is something else, let me know. Peace out.